So we have taken a good look at how we can write introductions and sign-offs for our letter. In this lesson, we'll be looking at how we can write consistently strong body paragraphs in our IELTS general writing test. And I'll be sharing with you a methodology I like to explore with my students in order to help them think about and reflect on their writing whilst practicing and whilst actually in the test in order to create strong body paragraphs. And that is the CRE method. When writing our detailed paragraphs, consider and think about the CRE method to ensure you are writing in a way that maximizes band score. So the CRE method is a strategy of thinking about how you can organize your writing to really answer the question, to use good language, and to show off your skills a little bit. Before we take a look at that, a quick important reminder. We will write one focused detailed paragraph per bullet point. So we'll get 3 bullet points. There'll be 3 reasonably short detailed paragraphs that will answer the bullet point each. That will help us structure and paragraph our writing, and it also helps contain our ideas into the same blocks, which helps with cohesion and coherence, of course, as well. So we're not mixing ideas around randomly all over our writing. Okay, CRE method stands for clarity, clear language. Am I writing using clear language that is easy to understand but not overly simplified? Relevance. Are the ideas I'm writing about relevant to the question and, importantly, relevant to the bullet point that I'm talking about in this paragraph? 1 bullet point, 1 detailed paragraph. Lastly, extension. Have I extended my writing and extended my thinking within the paragraph to give some extra detail and also show off my fluency and language skills? So the CRE method is a way of thinking about and planning for and actually creating our detailed paragraphs so that we make sure that we're really using our best language and we're answering the question and giving a bit of extra detail also. Quick review: clarity, clear language. Relevance, relevant ideas to answer the question. Extension, extending my writing with extra detail. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take a look at an example question, and then we'll see an example detailed paragraph answer for a certain bullet point, and we'll sort of go through and talk about the clarity, relevance, and extension used within. Let's take a read through the question. You recently discovered plans to build a new airport in your area and are unhappy with it. Write a letter to the local authority. So it's a complaint letter. In your letter, say how you found out about the plans. Explain what problems your neighbourhood will face. Suggest some possible solutions to those problems. 3 bullet points, so that's my organisation already sorted. 3 bullet points, 3 detailed paragraphs. However, we'll take a look at the detailed paragraph for this first bullet point. Say how you found out about the plans. So first up, let's read through this model answer for detailed paragraph 1. In a community meeting announcement at our local centre, I discovered the plans for the proposed airport. The lack of widespread communication has left us surprised and anxious about the potential consequences. Many members of the local community still have no clear information on this issue and are very concerned. Wow, sounds like from this sort of slightly creative answer with a bit of extra detail and extension, sounds like nothing was really communicated to the local public. So what we'll do is we'll take a look, we'll highlight some language here based on CRE. However, it's important to note that throughout all this writing, there is clear language used. It's all relevant, and there's some extension in many parts, but let's just focus on certain sentences. So the first sentence is super clear. In a way, I'm paraphrasing the bullet point here. So let's look at the bullet point. Say how you found out about the plans. I'm using really clear language to introduce this bullet point. I'm almost rewriting the bullet point. Say how you found out about the plans. In a community meeting announcement at a local centre, I discovered the plans for a proposed airport. This language here is really clear. There's no grammar errors. I'm not oversimplifying, but what I'm doing is introducing the topic. It's super clear and really introduces the topic that I'll be talking about in this detailed paragraph. Let's look at the next sentence for relevance. The lack of widespread communication has left us surprised and anxious about the potential consequences. So now I'm kind of going into a bit more of a creative part of writing. In the question, it says, I am unhappy about it. And actually, I'm saying that we were surprised and anxious. That's still very relevant to the question and the bullet point. And it's great to add a little bit of extra detail. You don't need to create a complete story, but make sure your ideas are relevant to the question and the bullet points. Now, if I ended there, just 2 sentences, it really wouldn't be enough writing. So I want to extend slightly with some extra details. Let's look at the 3rd sentence. Many members of the local community still have no clear information on this issue and are very concerned. Okay, so I'm extending with a bit of extra information. It is still relevant because I'm talking about, general feelings towards the airport, and I'm being a little bit extra creative with this because I'm saying the local community weren't told about anything and they're not happy also. Be careful when taking too much creativity into your writing, as you want to make sure it's still relevant. So in the bullet point, say how you find out about the plans. I've actually added a bit of extra detail to say how we all in the area found out about the plans, which is perfectly fine. That's still great, still relevant. Adding extra detail, that's fine. Okay, so there is an example of a band score 9 detail paragraph answering this first bullet point. Let's take a look at another question and then we'll see if there are any errors that we can spot. You and a friend recently went on a holiday together. There is a problem with the photos you have taken during the holiday. Write a letter to your friend to ask for a particular shot. In your letter, tell him/her about the problem with your photos. Say which photo you would like him/her to send you and explain why you need this photo. So we'll be looking at detail paragraph 2 for bullet point 2. Let's see our model answer now. Annoyingly, I'm missing the sunset photo we took at the beach. It captured such a magical moment and I'd love to have a copy if possible. Could you send that shot over to me? Also, I accidentally deleted some of the other pics while organising, but thankfully I've backed up the rest, which is pretty lucky. Okay, let's highlight some of the language and we'll go through the CRE method. Okay, clarity. Say which photo you would like. Well, I just introduced the sunset photo we took at the beach. I haven't said yet that I want that one. I just said I'm missing the sunset photo at the beach. Language very clear, no grammatical errors, and I'm introducing the main idea of my detail paragraph. Up next, let's take a look. There's a bit of extension. It captured such a magical moment and I'd love to have a copy if possible. So I'm also just beginning to ask for it. I'd love a copy. And I've added this detail, like it captured such a magical moment. I'm not going to be asking for a photo that was awful, taken of the floor or something. I'm just adding a bit of extra detail just to show off my writing fluency. And finally here, could you send that shot over to me? So I'm sort of asking now, I'm starting to ask for the picture. Now up next, let's take a look at the bullet point first. Say which photo you would like him/her to send you. Also, I accidentally deleted some of the other pics. Pics may be too informal, really, even for an informal letter, while organising, but thankfully I've backed up the rest, which is pretty lucky. Now, other than pics, which is maybe too informal, the language is okay here, but it's not relevant. I'm starting to talk about something that isn't really that relevant to the bullet point or the question. I deleted some of the other pics, but I backed them up. Well, we're actually just supposed to be talking about this one idea of this holiday together and asking for the photo. We've lost it. But we're now talking about some other pics that we deleted, but luckily we backed them up. It's a bit lacking in terms of the relevance to the question, but importantly to the bullet point also. So I probably do need to add a little bit of extra detail. So I've added an extra extension here. Now I say I need to add some extra detail. That's just really to make sure I'm getting to the word count. If I just write, 3 short sentences, I'm going to be under the 150 words. Let's take a look at this extension sentence. I know you've got my email, so it would be great if you could attach and send there. And that's fine. We're talking about the photos still, and we're saying that we'd like them to send it to our email address. So just a bit of extra detail there. What I could have probably done as well, I could have maybe described which photo I would like them to send as well. That would be really relevant to the bullet point. So even on reflection, looking back at this, say which photo, I could have described the photo in a bit more detail. I've only said a sunset photo we took at the beach. I could have probably gone into a bit more detail, maybe said when we took it, what day it was, what time of day, why I liked it so much. And of course, there's plenty of other ways we can stick by it. But the important thing to note here is that CRE, clarity, relevance, and extension, is a really good way to think about our writing whilst practicing detail paragraphs. What I suggest you do when you practice detail paragraphs, is to reread and think about, is the language clear? Are my ideas relevant to the question and bullet point? Did I extend? Did I extend enough where I got to around 160 to 180 words? Did I extend too much? Maybe the ideas weren't so relevant. So think about CRE when you practice writing too.